old friend Bob. I said my roof it leaks, my rug's a mess, and my front door needs a new knob. I got squirrels in my attic, I got bats in my head. Well, Bob just leaned over the counter and he shook his head and said, you need home repairs and solutions. Home repairs and solutions. They'll fix your windows, they'll fix your house, they'll even tell you how to get rid of a mouse. Home repairs and solutions.
It's 10:08 at AM 560, KWTO, 57 degrees under sunny skies in Springfield, and it's time for Home Repairs and Solutions, brought to you by Spring Mountain Air. And here's your host, Mark and Mary.
Good morning.
Morning.
How are you today, Mr. Mark?
I'm great.
Isn't it gorgeous out today?
It is beautiful.
And it's supposed to be really nice next Thursday for Thanksgiving.
Really?
65 is what I've heard.
Wow.
Sunny. It'll be great.
Oh, yeah, it
For all
will.
those who want to fry turkeys, it'll be a beautiful day to be outside frying a turkey.
I'll be smoking a turkey.
I think we're going to do that, too.
And
on
the big
egg.
green egg.
Yep, us too.
And I'm sitting here looking out the window right now, the studio, and I'm looking at Outdoor Home across the way over there, and I just realized I got to go over there and buy some charcoal.
I do, too. That's on my list to do after the show. I got to make sure I got enough charcoal.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, man, the weather is absolutely gorgeous. I can handle this cool temperatures. I kind of like it myself, getting it kind of frosty out of the morning and
well, it's frosty in the morning, that's for sure.
Yes, it is. We've had a few mornings that, definitely been nice and frosty.
Yes, it has.
But I love it.
Yep. Well, it's okay. I don't love it, but it's okay. I'll deal with it till next summer.
Well, that's why we got Florida. So you can go down there for a couple of weeks, and you can warm up, and you can come back to good old Missouri.
There you go. Well, yeah, I always want to come back. I always want to come back. Don't want to live anywhere but here.
Fun to go, but it's always better to come back.
It is. And speaking of holidays and things going on, there's a lot. People are busy right now.
They are.
And we're going to have stores open on Thanksgiving now. I'm thinking, what in the world? Good gravy. What is going on?
I know. I go back to the days of when the stores were closed on Sunday.
I know.
If you needed, do you remember the blue law they used to have?
Yes, I do.
And so what few stores was only open, they could only sell certain items like grocery items and stuff. Mm-hmm. And, if you just didn't buy it.
Yeah.
Everybody, stayed home and they had dinner on Sundays and went to church, whatever.
That's right.
And now look at it. Golly, we can't even have a holiday that the stores aren't open.
I know. I don't get it. I think I could go one day without shopping, but I don't know. But that's me. I'm not a big shopper, so I'm probably not the best one to ask that question. But we do have a caller on the line.
Well, we do. We got Tom down in Christian County. Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, I got a question to ask you.
Okay.
It may kind of sound off the wall, but it seemed like my memories served me correctly. We talked about heat transfer. Heat transfers from hot to cold. Is that right?
But yeah.
I think so.
It
yeah.
does.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So, in an event of an emergency, would it be feasible for a guy to say have a little stove outside of the house, similar to a firebox and an old cook stove, or a propane burner of some kind, and have a collecting system, collect the heat from that heat source?
Mm-hmm.
Would it flow into the house without a fan to push it or pull it?
It would probably. Now, you talking about just the air, or are you talking the heat in the water, or just?
What I'm talking about, like just for an emergency.
Yeah. Okay.
Could you have something set up like that would put enough heat into one or two rooms of a house that you could stay in the house?
I don't know whether you get enough air transfer without having a fan, something to pull that into the room. I really don't know that you would. You may get enough off of it to transfer a little bit of heat, but boy, without a fan, I mean, it's the same way with your furnace or even an outdoor, wood stove or whatever.
Yeah.
You almost need that fan to
circulate the air.
circulate the air, or you just don't get any. I mean, it's now in a situation where you had a wood stove or something in a basement, you get enough heat. Of course, heat rises,
Right.
and so that way you probably would. But I don't think just sitting outside, I don't think you would.
Mm-mm.
Okay, I was just thinking about that emergency situation. Has something prepared in case the power goes off.
Yep. Hey, it's best to be prepared. That's for sure.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you guys very much.
Well, thank you, Tom. Appreciate the call. We have a special guest in here today.
We do, and I think a lot of these people that have a lot going on for the holidays could probably use the services of our special guest today. We have Amanda Brown with 417 Pet Sitting.
Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome back to the show. It's been quite a while since we've had you on.
Yes, it has, but thank you for having me back. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. You might want to tell our listeners, what exactly does 417 Pet Sitting do?
We are a professional pet sitting company that offers in-home pet sitting services. Be that if you just have a long day at work and you can't make it home at lunchtime to let the kids out to go to the bathroom or take them for a walk, we can go over middle of the day and, take them for a walk, get rid of some of that energy, make sure they go outside and go potty and don't destroy the house or make any accidents. If you work all day and the kids have a softball game or you've got a Christmas party or something to go to, we can run over and feed the kids dinner. Again, let them out to go potty. Of course, if you're traveling, we can do in-home overnight pet sitting, where a sitter actually stays in your home overnight. That way, not only are your pets taken care of, but your house is safe and secure as well.
So it's a combination of house and pets.
Yep,
pet
absolutely.
Sitting.
Absolutely.
That's kind of hard for me to say this morning for some reason. Pet sitting.
Pet sitting.
And so you've been in this for quite a while now.
Yep. I started doing it when I was in college, just kind of on the side. And then I managed a pet sitting company for a while and started my own in 2009. And officially on paper, October 1, we turned 3 years old.
Congratulations. That's wonderful.
Thanks.
A lot of people have pets these days. And like we have our little Bichon Tucker, and I just love him to pieces, and I take him with me just about everywhere I go. He comes with us to work every day and all that. But not everyone has that ability to take their pet with them.
Right.
And so sometimes because we'll have activities after work where we can't go home, and since now that we live at the lake, it's not real convenient to run home and then be back in town in 45 minutes.
Right.
So what we have to do sometimes is we either take him to our daughter's house or to our son's house until we get done with our activity for the evening, and then we got to go pick him up or something like that. So I know that there's got to be other people that have that same time of lifestyle, especially this time of year. There's just so much going on, and sometimes it is hard to run home and let the little dog out or whatever it is you've got to take care of, and they can't stay in the house forever. I mean, they have to get out and take care of business. So I think that's a great service you provide, and it's something that I'm sure a lot of people could use that, unless they have, not everyone has a neighbor. Or, we have a few neighbors down at the lake and stuff, and every once in a while, if we have to be gone on the weekend, they'll kind of, let Tucker out for us or whatever. But it's you just kind of hate to impose or expect your neighbors to do that for you. They have their own things going on.
Well, and if a neighbor or your teenage child or just a friend in general, if they forget to do it, there's no recourse for that, but you still have to have the carpets cleaned and, fix whatever damage is done in the house. Whereas if you've got a professional pet sitter that comes in, we're licensed, bonded, and insured, and you've hired us to do that job. So we make sure that it's done, and it's done exactly the way you want. They're fed the exact amount that you want, when you want it, how you want it, given their medication. So it's to your specification, and there's recoils if it's not done the right way.
That's true. It's hard to pick a fight with your neighbor because they forgot to let your dog out.
Exactly.
When they were doing it as a favor.
Exactly.
So to have someone that professionally does that, you're the only person I've ever known that does. I didn't even know this kind of business existed until I met you. So tell me a little bit about what is a good client for you? What type of client is usually the type that looks out for comes to you for your services?
I have 3 basic groups of clients. My day in and day out clients are those who work 12-hour shifts or 18-hour shifts, or teachers that live here in town but travel to other cities to teach, or even teachers here in Springfield that aren't married. They leave the house at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning and don't get home until 5, 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night, and they just need their pets taken for a walk in the middle of the day and gone out. And those are people that use us Monday through Friday, with the exception of holidays, and we service them year round. And then, of course, we have our business travelers, those people that travel for their company, the project managers, the salespeople. They leave on Sunday or Monday, get home on Wednesday or Thursday based upon what their clients need. And so we're there 2 or 3 times a day, depending upon what they need, or even overnight while they're out of town traveling for work. And then, of course, there's the mom, dad, 2.7 kids, white picket fence, that they've got a busy schedule, and the kids get done with school, and then they've got an activity, and then they've got a Christmas party and a ball game. And, so we go over between 3 and 4 in the afternoon every day. And it's just hey, it's baseball season. The kids are going to need you these days. Or, hey, it's Mighty Mite season. The kids are going to need you these days. So it really, it's those families that have the kids' activities, those people that travel for work, and then those people that work all day long that can't necessarily make it home middle of the day to let the dogs out to play.
That covers a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's just about everyone with a pet,
That's
I would say.
almost everyone.
That's almost everyone with a pet.
Yeah.
So what is the strangest pet you've ever had to take care of? Have you had any real strange ones?
I have a couple clients that have squirrels. They had
really in their house.
Yeah, they accidentally ran over a squirrel nest, and so we tried to nurse the squirrel back to health, thinking, for the child's sake, thinking that, we would just the next day say, oh, sorry, we had to release the squirrel back out into the wild, go back to its family. Well, it survived.
You saved it.
And I wouldn't say I saved it. Google saved it.
Okay. Well, there you go.
But so I have a client with a squirrel that lives in a bird cage in their kitchen.
Oh,
I have
my
another
goodness.
client with a robin. Same thing happened. It fell out of the nest, got hit by the lawnmower. Only has one wig, but it has survived, and so they can't put it back out into the wild, obviously. So that's kind of strange. But
do you take care of reptiles and stuff? Are you leery of like snakes and all that kind of stuff? And
tarantulas trip me out a little bit, but my girls and I.
Now, what would a tarantula need you to do for it during the day? Feed it? I guess you don't let it out.
Just give it food.
Oh, okay.
It just eats.
Okay.
We do. I mean,
that's just an odd pet to me, but
most people will have us come over to take care of the dogs and the cats, and then it's by the way, my kid's got a tarantula or a snake or a gerbil or a bunny, or my kid's got something up in its room. Can you take care of that as well? But most of the time, it's dogs, cats, bunnies, horses, chickens. It's the normal pets, but.
Okay, so you'll even do something as big as a horse then.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking more like house pets, but you even do...
Oh, no, I have
outside.
a girl on staff I hired her specifically for equine clients.
Okay.
I grew up in Florida. I know very little about horses. I'm like, oh, look, that's a horse. That's the extent of my knowledge. Actually taking care of them long term, it's out of the realm of my knowledge. So I hired her, and she takes care of my equine clients, and they love her. I mean, she's great with horses.
Wow. There you go.
Yeah.
Any kind of pets you have.
Donkeys, mules, ducks, chickens. Chickens are all the rage now because they passed that ordinance where you can have 4 chickens and a rooster within city limits. And so a lot of people are doing like self-sustaining living. And so they've got these beautiful gardens and then 3 or 4 chickens. And so I have clients that go out of town that they take their dogs with them, but I have to go over and, maintain the garden and take care of the chickens. And chickens have to be, let out in the morning and then cooped in the evening.
And they have to be fed and watered and that kind of thing.
They're actually neat little critters. They really are. They have their own little personalities. And
so really, did several people in Springfield actually get chickens when they passed that?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, within a month, I probably had a dozen new clients that all they wanted us to do was take care of their chickens.
Oh, my goodness. I didn't realize that would be that big of a deal. I remember when they passed all that, and I thought, really? Are people really going to get chickens and put them in their backyard in town? I guess so.
There are a lot of people jumping on the self-sustaining bandwagon, and they want to be self-sufficient whenever
as much as they can.
Whenever possible. So they've got the gardens and the chickens and.
Oh my goodness! That kind of surprises me. I just didn't think that many people would go out and get chickens.
Yeah, it is. That's surprising.
Yeah. We raised them one time. My husband, when we lived in Arkansas, we had some acreage and stuff, and he decided we were going to raise chickens. And we got these little, 50 little baby chickens, and they were just so cute and all that. Well, let me tell you something. About 4 weeks later, I hated them things. We got 50 of them, and you go feed them, and they come running, they'd peck at you. And oh, my goodness. I was so happy when we butchered them suckers. But we've never raised them since, not to butcher. Now, if I had them for eggs or something, that might be a little different. But I'm done with raising chickens for food. I'm telling you, that was horrible.
The eggs are so good.
They are. Fresh eggs are the best.
I haven't had to buy eggs in years, thankfully. I have a client out in Clever who literally has 60 chickens, and another one that's out in Fairgrove that's got about 100. So I always have eggs at my disposal, and I bought just randomly like a half dozen eggs I needed for something, and it just didn't taste the same.
No, they taste totally different.
Fresh eggs are amazing.
Are the best. Mm-hmm. They're the best. They're the best to bake with, just to eat.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
I agree. So whenever we can get fresh eggs, we try and buy fresh eggs too, because can't beat them.
That's true.
So, I wonder what they do if I put some chickens down at the lake. I'd probably get in real big trouble for that one. I don't know.
No, you might not.
Technically, that's not within city limits.
No, but I'm sure that the neighbors might not be real happy about it. I don't know.
But
there is a farm, though, that we drive by that's a really nice farm, and they have chickens that just kind of run loose and stuff. And you have to kind of watch going through there, because sometimes they'll be right next to the road, so I don't want to run over them. But, there are some around that it'd be kind of fun just to, I wonder, wonder how many you need to get enough eggs just, for your, how many does a chicken produce in eggs a day?
They lay an egg a day.
They lay an egg a day? Well, there you go.
Well, sometimes. Sometimes it's every other. It depends on the chicken.
Yeah. Well, then you wouldn't need too many for two people.
No, for not just two
if
people.
you had 2 or 3, 4 hens,
we'd be good.
You'd be good. Just put up a little coop. The coops are the size of a doghouse. And, they've got the little flip-top lid on them, so you just reach into the nesting boxes.
Oh, that makes it easy to gather eggs.
Oh, yeah. Literally, it's like an elevated doghouse, and, the back side of it flips up. You just reach down into the nesting boxes, flip it back down, lock it. The front of it's got the little walkway that they come up and down. That way it's elevated and away from the raccoons and the fox.
There we go. See, I did not know that.
She is your chicken expert today.
I was not raised on a farm. My husband was. He knows lots more about that stuff.
Oh,
than I do,
no. I was raised on a golf course. No. I was not raised on a farm. These are things I've learned from clients in the past few years. Yes, I definitely am not a farm girl. This is all learned information.
Learned knowledge.
But if I can sustain chickens for 2 or 3 weeks while clients are out of town, anybody can do it. They really are fairly simple. They just need, grain, water, some scratch thrown down on the ground.
They're good to go.
They are.
There
and
you
they're
go.
fun to watch. Oh, my gosh. They're hysterical to watch.
All righty. All of you people in Springville with chickens, if you need someone to take care of them while you're at Grandma's for the weekend for Thanksgiving, call Amanda. Speaking of calling you, what's your number, Amanda? How do they get a hold of you?
It is 417-827-7387.
And do you have a website?
I do. It is www.417petsitting.com. And they can even submit requests online for consultations. We'll come over and do a free in-home consultation to meet them, meet all their pets, get to know them, get to know the kids. They can, once they're a client, they can even submit requests for service online.
And see, and when you're talking about kids, you're meaning
Fur
as in
kids.
pets, fur kids. I saw that.
Kids.
I saw that one of your advertisements, and it said something about fur kids, and I thought that was a cute word. It sounds like something that you coined yourself, because I've never seen anywhere else. But I thought that was a cute word for
that was
pets.
actually coined by Tracy and Kathleen. We've always called them our fur kids, because we're all single.
Right.
None of us have kids,
Yeah.
and so they're our fur babies, our fur kids. And I've thought about trademarking that to use, but it's just such a cute word. I want the whole planet to start using it.
It is a really cute word. I liked it when I saw it. I thought that was a cute word to come up with. So if someone is wanting to, contact you for their services, like they're a first-time client, haven't talked to you before, what kind of time frame do you have as far as being able to meet with someone? Like, say, something comes up and they have to go out of town the next, 2 days. Is that enough time for you to be able to come out and meet with them and get things set up so that you can get them on the schedule to take care of their pets?
Generally speaking, they can call us 24/7, and we can accommodate them. So long as we've got enough time to get out to the house, get a key, do a quick consultation. Consultation takes an hour. Then we can normally accommodate them. During the holidays, I think Tuesday, everyone made the stunning realization that Thanksgiving is on Thursday.
That kind of happened to me this week. I'm not ready.
Yeah.
My
me
phone
neither.
has been ringing since 7:01 Tuesday morning, and I've just been overwhelmed with calls. And once we have you in the system, you're good to go. We can usually accommodate you. I have several clients that are pregnant right now, because apparently, you have fun on Valentine's Day and then you have a baby before Thanksgiving, or St. Pat's and Christmas. But I have several clients that are pregnant right now, and so I've had a lot of calls lately of, okay, we're heading to the hospital, the kids are yours for the next 2 days.
Okay.
And so once we have you in the system, and once we've got a key and we know your pets, usually you can call us at the drop of a hat. Heaven forbid somebody passes away or there's an emergency,
Sure.
or, even if you're in a car accident and you need us to get to the kids because you're off to the emergency room, we can normally accommodate that.
That's something I hadn't even thought about.
During the holidays, it gets a little tight. just because there's so many people that realize it's the holidays, and so they need to be a little patient with us. But we can usually make it work. It may take us a little longer to return your call, but we're working on it.
Okay, some great information there.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, do you have a pet?
No, I don't.
Okay, you don't. Okay, no. I don't remember you talking about having any. I didn't know if you did or not.
No.
You're not home enough to have a pet.
I'm not.
You're on the go a lot.
We had a pet a few weeks ago.
This sounds like a sad story.
Oh no, not really. There was the last few pets I have been cats.
Oh.
And we had a little cat show up at actually my sister-in-law's house. He had a Harley-Davidson collar on. They couldn't find the owner, so since me, like Harley-Davidson's, why Harley ended up at our house, but Harley only stayed a couple weeks because he was a little wild for our household.
I see.
So we found him a good home, though.
Well, that's good.
Excellent.
Yeah. I hear music.
I do, too. I think that means we have to be quiet for a few minutes, but we'll be back.
That's right.
Here's news on the Ozarks News Network. A man has been shot to death in South Springfield. Police were alerted when neighbors heard several shots being fired in the 2300 block of South Delaware. Officers say the man appears to have been shot several times and appears to be in his mid-40s. One of 4 men involved in the murder of 3 people in Laclede County has been sentenced to life in prison. Stephen Picola was convicted in the killing of Jeff and Linda Smith and Zachary Porter in 2009. Josh Reyes and Jackie Wong are already serving time in the case. Benjamin Stidham is awaiting trial. And a man has been sentenced for the stabbing death of a woman in Branson. Stuart Hopkins has been given a life sentence for killing 42-year-old Stacy Birmingham of Omaha, Arkansas, in a Branson hotel room just more than 2 years ago. Hopkins was given a life sentence for first-degree murder and 25 years for armed criminal action. For the Ozarks News Network, I'm Arlen Summers.
A very nice end of the work week today, as we see plenty of sunshine, the high 57. Clear skies tonight, low 32 to 35. It'll be sunny to start the weekend tomorrow, the high again 57, low 34 for tomorrow night. Sunday will be partly sunny, the high 61. Turning cloudy, there is a chance for a shower on Monday, high of 55. It'll be sunny and warmer on Tuesday, the high 63. I'm AccuWeather's Jason Lord.
Query, where's the closest amusement park?
If you want thrills, then check out Fox Friday with new episodes of Kitchen Nightmares and Fringe.
Sweet, but I was thinking...
Buckle up. Whee!
Wait, what?
First, on an all-new Kitchen Nightmares, the food is criminal.
Only served on death row.
The customers are miserable.
We haven't had any complaints.
Because you have no customers, my darling.
And the owner is downright...
mean.
She's mean.
Mean.
Holy crap.
Then, there are only 7 episodes of Fringe remaining.
Our mission is almost complete.
Now, can Peter Bishop use the power of the observers...
That thing in their heads? You implanted one in yourself.
...to destroy them?
They'll pay for what they've done. I promise you.
Oh, that is one thrilling ride. Hey, Query, look, no hands.
Wow, you are dumb.
Did you just say that
You are funny. Yes, that's it.
Starting at 7, only on Fox KRBK.
'Twas the month before Christmas, and oh, what a sight. Topless trucks, ugly cars, and SUVs cruise the night. But stop all the worry and cry nevermore. To the east lies the world's greatest accessory store. Truck tops and tube steps and floor mats and liners and all that is needed to make your ride look finer. Visit our showroom today and trick your ride to the max. You don't have to pay Springfield or Greene County sales tax. On Highway 60, just 10 minutes east, Sportsland Pickup Covers. Get the most for the least.
Sportsland Pickup Covers.
Well, I went down to the hardware store to see my old friend Bob. I said my roof it leaks, my rug's a mess, and my front door needs a new knob. I got squirrels in my attic, I got bats in my head. Well, Bob just leaned over the counter and he shook his head and said, "You need home repairs and solutions. Home repairs and solutions. They'll fix your windows, they'll fix your house, they'll even tell you how to get rid of a mouse. Home repairs and
You get rid of a mouse by getting a cat.
Welcome back to the second half of the show. listening to the song there, Amanda said the way you get rid of a mouse is you get a cat.
That's right.
Well, that's commonsensical.
It is.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's a true story.
That's true. I'm sure you're right. If you get a good cat, you won't have any mice.
Mm-hmm.
My cats are always lazy. They just sit and look at them.
You fed them too much.
That means you overfed them.
That's right.
Probably true.
If you overfeed them, they won't hunt for you.
Yeah.
Just get fat and lazy.
Fat and lazy.
Like
you
my
ever see a
mom's cat.
mouse in a house that's got a skinny cat?
No.
No, can't say that I have.
There you go.
There we go.
Speaking of tips, Amanda has some great tips for everyone for their pets around the holidays. You know, when we get around the holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas and those type of things, and you know, a lot of times we bring things out and we decorate our house with things, and we have different foods, and we have Christmas parties, and we have wrapping paper. We have all kinds of stuff in the house that's not normally there.
Yep.
So oftentimes, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but oftentimes a pet will end up in the emergency room or at the vet over the holidays because they've gotten into something that they should not have.
Absolutely. And part of it is that we only pull these items out for Thanksgiving or Christmas or New Year's or, Halloween. And so they're not there all the time. And so the pets want to explore it because it's new and it's shiny and it's pretty and it makes cool noises. And so then they end up eating it or getting tangled up in it. And unfortunately, then they end up in the emergency room. So.
Yeah, which is not what you want to do on the holidays. That's
No,
not,
it's not.
That's never on anyone's list.
Nope.
So
it's a great way to get away from the in-laws, but I really don't think you want to put your pet through that.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. Just go for a walk or so. Take the dog for a walk. That'll get you away for a little bit.
Exactly. And you can burn off some calories.
There you go. Then you can eat more dessert.
There you go. Extra slice of pumpkin pie.
There you go. Some of the things, though, that she has on here is kind of interesting. We'll go through some of these, but one is don't be a turkey.
Yes.
What does that mean?
Well, holiday treats, they're very rich foods, they're fatty foods, and a lot of the bones, particularly in pork and poultry, are harmful to your pets, as well as alcoholic beverages, chocolate, nuts. These things are all harmful to your pets, and so we don't think about it, and we're all with our friends and our family, and we've got our holiday parties, and our guests are over, and the dogs end up getting into those. And a lot of these foods are linked to pancreatitis in pets. Signs and symptoms can include vomiting, abdominal pain, and a lot of times it requires emergency care and lengthy treatment, expensive lengthy treatment. Their blood sugars will drop. They'll get super lethargic. And unfortunately, sometimes it goes unnoticed, and then we end up losing the pet just because we're so busy entertaining and with our guests. And so we just need to be mindful of guests, feeding our pets treats off the table. And when we've got the bowls of the candies and the nuts and, our drinks down low, we just need to be mindful of that so our pets don't accidentally imbibe. And
that's a good idea. That's something that if you are having a party and you're having your friends and stuff over. Now, a lot of our friends, they've been around us for many years, and so they know about Tucker, and they know that we don't feed him table scraps and stuff. I mean, he does get a little bit of cheese once in a while or something, but where we sometimes have an issues with the kids. The kids, because the dog, he'll go up to one of the kids, they'll be eating something because he knows he's not going to get from the adults.
Right.
And he'll go up to one of the kids, and so we have to always make sure that the little kids and stuff at our house remind them, okay, don't feed Tucker. He'll get sick, and you have to explain all that, and you have to tell them that several times because he'll go beg from the kids.
Right.
So it's probably a good idea to kind of remind your guests and people you have over, about what your pet can and can't have,
right.
and so that way someone's not sneaking them something under the table that maybe they don't.
Or even, if you're going to have several little kids around, go get a bag of the Zooks training treats. They're the size of a pencil eraser. Throw those in a bowl on the counter with a little label that says, Tucker's treats, and make sure that they only give him those treats. That way they feel like they're not neglecting the dog or ignoring him, which they're truly not, because food does not equal love.
Right.
But at the same time, they're like, oh, at least I was giving him something good, and they're not ignoring the dog.
Because they love to feed him. My grandkids, especially the little one, Allie, she just loves to feed. I mean, she'll just share everything she's got with him, and it's like, no, he can't have that.
Yeah.
So that's probably a good idea if we just set some treats out make sure the kids don't eat the treats. Of course, it probably wouldn't hurt them, but I don't know.
But yeah, and just, don't do the full-size treats. Get the little training treats. The
little ones.
That are ittle-bitty. That way, if he gets 5 or 6 of them, it's not going to be a detriment to him.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because we don't want him to get a sick stomach.
That's a great idea.
I had a neighbor, same one I was telling about during the break, that had the ferret that she accidentally put in the dryer.
Yeah, that's not a good idea.
She had 3 Dalmatians.
Uh-huh.
And I just got to where I hated to go out in the yard because them dogs are the most hyper dogs that ever was. And, I mean, they'd see me out. Here they would come because she didn't have a fence. And, I mean, they would just be all over me and stuff. But she used to...
they loved you.
Oh, yeah. But of an evening to get them to calm down, why, she'd feed them beer.
Oh,
They drank beer out of their dish, and boy, they'd just mellow out.
Oh, no.
Yeah, she used to do that all the time.
The yeast and stuff that's in beer is horrible for them because it expands in their stomach and the grains. Oh, it's horrible.
But that's how she'd get them to calm down.
Oh, my goodness.
It's like, I'd see them coming, I'd just, here, dogs, have one.
Probably not the best idea.
No.
Probably not the best idea. Actually, I think dog training would have been a better route to go.
Exactly.
Like
know, and I think she did try the obedience type training and stuff, but it didn't really help, best I remember. That's been back a few years ago. But
that was before John Lopez was around. He owns Standing Ovation, and he's amazing. He can fix the obedience issues in like a matter of hours. It amazes me how quick he is with dogs.
So there you go. If you have an obedience problem with one of your pets, call Amanda. She'll get you hooked up with someone.
Exactly. Don't give them beer.
Yeah.
Jeez,
or Quaaludes or anything like that. Don't be doing that.
Yeah. Here, dog, smoke this. You know?
Oh, no, not a good idea. Another. Go ahead.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Something we haven't done.
What's
just
that?
in case we got somebody out there listening that wants to call in and talk to Amanda. Well, we need to give our numbers out.
Oh, we do.
Yes,
we haven't done
done
that
that. Don't mean to interrupt you.
No, go for it, Mark.
1-800-375-0056 or 862-9977. So if you're sitting out there wanting to call, thinking, how do I get in? That's how you do it.
Yeah, what's their number? I have a question.
Yeah.
Now you have our number.
Okay. Now you can carry
very
on.
good point. See, sometimes I get so interested in talking to the guests we have on, I forget all the detail stuff. He's good at the housekeeping part. I forget all that stuff.
Absolutely. That's why we keep you around. You're a great
I'm good for something. You know.
And another thing that you need to be concerned about is oftentimes, is plants. Around the holidays, we get all these new plants, or we'll get poinsettias or different things to decorate with. And you need to make, sometimes I see those, you go in, people have them sitting on the floor or something like that. So what do they need to watch out for as far as plants go?
A lot of them, particularly the berries on mistletoe, are very, very toxic. Holly can be very toxic. Hibiscus, Christmas roses, and poinsettias are all toxic. And then, as a random side note, during the Easter holiday, lilies are toxic to cats. And
really? Wow, I didn't know that.
Yep, lilies are very toxic to cats. So at Easter time, be mindful of your lilies. And then, of course, in the winter holidays, we've got mistletoe, holly, hibiscus, Christmas roses, and poinsettias.
So if you find your plant, or if you find your pet chewing on the plant, you need to relocate the plant.
Yep.
You don't want your dog to get sick or something like that. And then you have on this list, you have pets and bread dough don't mix well. Who gives their? I asked you this. I said, who in the world gives their pet bread dough? And she has an answer for that.
A lot of people will feed their dogs pizza bones when you're eating the pizza and you've got that little piece of crust left, and a lot of people will throw it down to their dogs. Well, unfortunately, the yeast that's in the breads, the pizza doughs, or even a pie crust, will keep activating, and it expands in their intestines and in their stomachs, and it can cause blockages. So then the poor little thing is blocked, and it can't do anything. And so it's sick and laying there and agonizing in pain. And so then you end up in the emergency room. They have to do a Ballum drop and sometimes even surgery. So it's
and that
not
can be
good.
very expensive. I have a friend that had her little dog one time. It wasn't pizza dough or anything like that, but he was chewing on a little plastic toy and happened to chew the foot off of the little toy. It did the same thing. He swallowed it. It swelled up. That was about a $2,000 surgery.
Yep.
It was a big deal. It's very expensive. So you really want to be aware of what your pet is eating. Since then, since that happened, I won't let Tucker have the plastic chew toys. I always make sure that they're
rawhide.
They're soft ones or whatever. And he's never torn one up and got the inside out. But I'm just really concerned about if they're chewing on a plastic one and they get a piece off of that, they can have that tore off and swallowed before you even realize it's gone, and then boy, you've got a problem. And you've got an expensive vet bill, too.
Absolutely.
They were able to
Absolutely.
save his life, but it was very costly.
Exactly.
And then and Christmas trees are another thing. Now, some people, well, I don't know. I guess a lot of people still get live Christmas trees, but a lot of them do artificial now. Are both trees detrimental to the pet?
Yes. With the live trees, the actual water that is in the tree stand, the saps and everything will drip into that water, and anything that tree has ingested or absorbed, if you will, in its growth process, then seeps into that water, and then the dogs will drink, or the cats will drink that water that's in your tree stand. And another problem is if your tree stand is old, then that water starts to rust after a while. And so then they're drinking rust water on top of any of the toxins that have seeped from the tree into the tree water. So then you've got a double whammy of bad going on. And then with the fake trees, of course, you've got the twine and the wire that holds the branches together, which can puncture their stomach, puncture their intestines. And so that's, not to mention cut up their mouth. So that's a detriment right there. So it's a double whammy. It doesn't matter whether you've got fake or artificial. It's not healthy for them to ingest either one.
Yeah, don't let your dog chew on them. Or your children.
There's actually Invisible Fence Company makes a battery-operated unit that you just toss under your Christmas tree, and it throws a field out. There's a receiver on their collar.
That's cool.
So you can keep your pets out of the Christmas tree with this cool little collar and unit that Invisible Fence has. And it's fairly inexpensive.
That's neat, because she's been a guest on the show before, too, and she's got a great product in it. And I don't remember us talking about that when she was on the show.
It's a fairly new product line. But, yeah, it's really cool because it throws out a force field, if you will. And so it's just like if they cross an invisible fence that's in the yard.
Sure.
It keeps them out of the Christmas trees, and it's good for cats and dogs.
Wow, that's a neat idea.
Yes,
Whoever
it
came up
is.
with that, that's a neat idea.
Yeah.
And you hear about cats, people putting their trees up, and then they come home and the tree's knocked over because the cats climbed the tree and all that
Well,
kind
and then
of
you've
stuff.
got glass all over the floor, and you've got tinsel.
Broken ornaments.
So not only do you have the glass issue, but then you've got the tinsel and the garland, which they eat that, and that gets all twisted and tied up, and that becomes toxic to them. And there is nothing about the holidays that is safe for your pets.
Well, I'd say you're probably right.
I mean, they chew on the lights, they get electrocuted.
Yeah, all kinds of things.
Of course, talking about the dog drinking out of the tree and the cat, our pet getting electrocuted with lights, makes me think of the Christmas Vacation movie, because that's just a prime example of.
There's a lot of truth in the National Lampoons.
Yes,
because that's really kind of what happens. In reality.
The dog drinks the water. Number one, it's bad for him. Plus, your water's gone. That helps keep your tree fresh, so the tree gets dry and brittle and fire
and then the
hazard.
tree catches on fire.
Yeah, and then the cat eats the lights, and they're
So much for Merry Christmas, huh?
That's right.
Not good.
Not good.
You just have to be smart about your holidays.
You
That
do.
way you really do have a Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Sure, absolutely. A lot of times you kind of have to treat your pets like you do if you have very small children that crawl
Absolutely.
around on the floor. You got to remember,
Sure.
that anything that's at their level that they can reach. You just have to make sure that everything is safe for them during the holidays.
And they love those Christmas ornaments, especially the old-fashioned, like the real glass ones. They're shiny and pretty and sparkly because they can see their reflection in them, and they're sparkly. And the cats and the dogs just love
Play
to
with them.
bat at those. And unfortunately, they're glass and they break. And
yeah, that's absolutely true. Then you have here that sugar-free doesn't guarantee a happy ending. Talk a little bit about this. Some situations that you've run into with pets.
A lot of people during the holidays, and anytime they're at a gathering, they will chew the Nicorette gums instead of smoking just to try and be amiable. And it has xylitol in it. And there's actually a lot of bubble gums and candies and products on the market now that we eat in order to, try and maintain our weight or appease our guests that have xylitol or other fake sugars in them. And unfortunately, xylitol is very, very toxic to pets. It can cause serious, serious drops in their sugar levels. It can cause liver failure. It's an all-around bad idea. And unfortunately, the smaller dogs, like the Dachshunds or the Bajans, will get into these, and they're so small that it goes into their bloodstream so quickly, and then their blood sugar drops, and then they end up with liver failure and other problems, and we don't notice it quick enough. But it can be very detrimental very, very quickly. So any of those artificial sweeteners and artificial products, we really need to keep those away from our pets, because I definitely do not mix. And I've seen several dogs rack up $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 vet bills ingesting, xylitol and other fake sugars, and it can be scary because it's touch and go for a while if it's not treated quickly and properly.
Well, like you said, it can happen so quickly that you don't realize it's going on until it's really progressed.
Mm-hmm.
So,
especially if the kids are at home by themselves. You leave your Dentine laying, not to throw any product line under the bus. You leave your foil pack of gum laying there on the table, not thinking anything of it. You're gone for 8 hours of work. You come home and all of a sudden all your gum is gone and half the foil pack is eaten too. So then they've got tin foil, they've got plastic, plus they've got the xylitol in their system, and they're like laying there half lethargic in the middle of the floor.
Yeah, that's an emergency rush to the emergency room for sure.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're talking about nuts here. I thought this was kind of interesting, especially macadamia nuts.
Mm-hmm. Dogs that ingest nuts usually get severe weakness. It almost causes them to be paralyzed, only it's not permanent. They usually recover in 3 or 4 days, but it causes them to literally just be super weak, and they lose the ability to use their legs. And that's macadamia nuts in particular, but it can be several nuts.
And that's a food item that's more prevalent a lot of times during the holidays. Is you'll sit out a bowl of nuts or something like that. And I mean, a lot of people do that. We do that. You have nuts and cookies or cakes or whatever it is you got going on.
Well, and a lot of people will leave nuts out year round, just on the counter. They aren't necessarily the mixed nuts that are already shelled, but they'll leave the nuts and the nutcracker out on the counter. And the cats or the dogs cats in particular, will get them and play with them. Then they end up on the floor and the dog eats them. And I believe it's macadamia nuts, Brazil nuts, and hazelnuts. Don't quote me on the hazelnut. But, and it causes the weakness in the legs, and they're almost paralyzed, and it takes 3 or 4 days for it to go away.
Does that require any kind of treatment, or will they just get over that on their own?
They can get over it on their own. But I mean, I would take my dog to the vet.
Oh yeah. Well, I think most people would, but just in case someone,
If you don't realize it, but I mean, I would think you would notice that your dog couldn't stand up or your cat couldn't stand up. But if you don't notice it, it'll go through their blood sugar, through their bloodstream, and they will be fine. It's not life-threatening, so to speak.
Oh, okay.
That being said, I wouldn't just go, oh, well, Amanda said that's cool. They'll be okay in 3 or 4 days. Just, I would take them to the vet.
But these other items, they definitely require vet treatment if they ingest
absolutely.
any of this other stuff. So.
Absolutely. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They definitely will require a trip to the vet, because most of the time it's blockages or puncture wounds to the intestines or the stomach, and we don't even think about it. Even with the fatty foods and the really rich foods and the table scraps, that just makes them. It just turns their stomach on its ear, basically. And so even that could require a bland diet and a little bit of treatment, depending upon what they've ingested and how much they've ingested.
Well, I mean, that happens to people, too. I mean, you heard people after Thanksgiving, they eat a big Thanksgiving dinner, and they eat pie and whipped cream and whatever, and then you just don't feel good sometimes. If you overindulge in stuff that you don't do normally, then, it affects us, too. So I'm sure it would.
And the same thing happens to our pets. So.
Yeah, that makes sense to me that would happen that way. So, anyway.
Yeah. Something else, I was looking at your website here. When folks call you all to come to their house to pet sit, whether it's just to walk the fur kids, as you call them, or, stay overnight, you all are insured, bonded, and licensed.
Yep.
So they don't have to worry
Nope.
about you or one of your employees being in their house.
Correct. We are all licensed, bonded, and insured. There's a $25,000 dishonesty bond, $2 million liability policy. We are Better Business Bureau accredited. We're chamber members.
So nothing to worry about.
Pet Sitters International members. I mean, we've crossed our T's and dotted our I's, and I do my due diligence to make sure that, my girls are good people and that they're not going to rob you blind, and that they know what they're doing, and that they're good pet sitters.
You actually have, you told me earlier before we came on the air that you actually have 7 other people working with you with this. So that tells me there's a huge need for your type of service out there.
Absolutely.
And because I know, like, if my parents have a cat and then my in-laws have a dog, and when they come down to visit and stuff, they're always concerned. Of course, they don't live in this area, but they'll come for the weekend or something. And a cat is pretty self-contained overnight or something, but they're well, actually, my in-laws won't hardly stay at all because of the dog.
Right.
It's hard to leave a dog. You just can't leave them in 24 hours. I mean, you're just going to have issues when you get home.
Yeah.
So they'll come down and spend a little bit of time with us, and then they go right back home. But it would be really convenient to someone if they just want to, if they're going to grandma's for the holiday for a few days or something, to leave the pet at home. We talked about that oftentimes, and there are some good kennels. And I've used kennels before when we've been gone on vacation for 2 weeks or something like that. But, if your pet is at home, it's in its own environment.
Right.
You don't have to worry about stuff like kennel cough and fleas. And there's other things that, they can pick up going to a kennel.
Not to mention the bad habits. I mean, just the bad habits that they pick up when they're at a kennel that they've learned from other dogs, or, they aren't disciplined for jumping, or... So they pick up bad habits, or they're not necessarily getting the food or the medication that they need, or they're not getting the playtime that they need. I mean, it's bad enough that mom and dad are out of town, and now they're in a strange place with strange smells and strange dogs and strange people. It's definitely better for them mentally to be at home.
Well, and they feel stressed like people do.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, they do feel stressed. A couple times when we would go on vacation and we would leave we had a little Yorkie for a number of years, and sometimes my parents would watch her for me. Well, she wouldn't eat for like 3 days.
Yeah.
The first time my mom and dad kept her for us, my mom kind of got panicky thinking this dog is going to die because she's not going to eat. She was just stressed out. She wasn't at home. She didn't know where we were. She was like Tucker. We took her with us everywhere. Well, we couldn't take her on the airplane to go on vacation for 2 weeks. I mean, that just wasn't practical.
Oh, absolutely.
And so, and I didn't really know a good kennel. I didn't really trust anyone to watch her, so we would leave her. And even as much as she was around my parents, just being at their home instead of our home for amount. I mean, it stressed her out. So it's just easier on your pets. It's less stress. You don't have to worry about them picking up, any kind of
parasites or diseases or habits. And one of the things that I do is whichever sitter has been assigned to you, that's the sitter that comes out to do your consultation. And that's the sitter that will always take your case whenever you're out of town, unless there's a conflict, with dates or whatever. But once you're assigned a sitter, that's your sitter. That way, not only do they know your pets and their routine in the house, but your pets can bond with that sitter. And so they start to feel comfortable with them. And that way you don't have the stress and the anxiety associated with strangers and odd elements.
Absolutely. Why don't you give out your contact information again, Amanda, before we have to go off the air here?
Okay. The phone number is 417-827-7387. And the website is just www.417petsitting.com.
And so, are you going to be in town for the holidays, or do you go out of town?
Oh, no. I am in town for the holidays.
I'll bet. You're probably really busy this time of year.
Yes, ma'am. I definitely will be here and working all day long.
Okay. Well, I'm going to be at home. I'm going to have the family down and our parents, and I'm going to do the traditional Thanksgiving turkey dinner and all that kind of stuff. So looking forward to that. And I hope your turkey comes out great. I'm sure it will.
I hope so. I think it will.
It will.
Yeah.
And I might meet you over there getting some charcoal here in a few minutes.
Okay. Sounds like a deal. So.
Well, I hope everyone has a safe and happy Thanksgiving. Thanks for being with us on the show today. And we'll be back live next Friday.
Yeah, we're going to be live next Friday.
We will be.
So we will be here. So. Well, this is Home Repairs and Solutions. We're heard every Friday morning from 10 to 11 right here on AM 560 KWTO.
Rid of a mouse. Home Repairs and Solutions.